experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Texas and Louisiana. Texas, my old home state. Good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. This is a live show. So when you have a live show, there's certain things, even when you see some of the big networks, they have freezing problems, they lose connection. Well, today I think we've lost our video connection with our expert, but we have the audio. And it's incredible because this is like one of our best shows now. We get more people tuning in for this show. And it's an important topic because most of our listeners and viewers are homeowners and business owners. And they don't realize that they have a company like Provident Public Adjusters out there that can help them with their claims. And we're going to talk about that for the next 25 minutes. Let me welcome you to Sarah Mitchell Butler. Hi, Sarah. I don't know why she's... Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Steve-O.
Let's see
Can you hear
what's
me?
happening. Hey, I apologize. We just, it's a live show. We never know when.
Steve, I can hear her. Hi, Sarah.
Okay.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, Steve-O. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, we're set now. I got to tell you, this is so upsetting because your show is so important, and you're in one of our biggest markets, and it's amazing the letters that we get that people didn't even know there was such a thing as a public insurance adjuster. I mean, I thought, well, listen, 20 years ago when I had a problem, I didn't know, but you would think people will get more knowledge now. But tell people about your company, Sarah.
Yes, so we are Provident Public Adjusters. We are a public adjusting firm, and what we do is we represent the policyholders throughout the negotiations and documentations of their insurance claim. And so we love, protecting the integrity of the insurance industry and, upholding the promise of the policy.
I got to tell you, and listen, everybody's claim is different. This is just my personal experience. About 20 years ago, I had a major flood in my house, and the insurance company offered me $35,000. And a friend of mine, I was going to take it because I thought that's what I had to do. And a friend of mine said, why don't you get a public insurance adjuster? And I didn't know what one was, but I got to tell you, I learned real fast, Sarah. I end up hiring an adjuster. Now again, this is just me. Everybody's case is different. I got $130,000.
I know,
and I would have left so much money on the table.
Oh yeah, I know it. I mean, it's there, and I was actually talking about that with a client. It's not so much that yes, the dollar amount is the difference, but really it just means a lot of it means is the appropriate scope of work and the damages weren't uncovered. And so I'm glad to hear that your house was able to be restored back to what it needed to be.
Yeah, but I was amazed. I was really mad. I got to tell you, I was really mad at my insurance company trying to lowball me so badly. But again, remember, everybody's case is different. But I want this show to show you the importance of hiring a great public insurance adjuster like Provident Public Adjusters. Um, how can a public adjuster help speed up the claim process when insurance companies are out there delaying?
So we do that a couple of ways. One, we're familiar with what the Department of Insurance timelines are. And so we document the file accordingly to hold them accountable, meaning they now know that we know what they're supposed, the ways that they're supposed to act and the timelines that we're supposed to act. The other thing is we provide a a holistic, comprehensive understanding of the damages, and I think that that helps. The insurance companies understand, um, you know, understand everything from the beginning as much as we're able to, so they have a more holistic picture, more put together documentation. And so I think that that helps speed up the timelines as well.
You think of a claim is usually like a leak, um, maybe a storm, but there's so many other areas that you cover, aren't there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. We handle a lot of fire claims here at
Hmm.
our office. We kind of specialize in those, and right now it's actually the busy season for that because of it's cold, and so you see a lot more families, with space heaters that probably shouldn't be plugged in, older space heaters, or fireplaces that haven't been serviced in a while, and so things like that. Usually this is the season where we see a lot more fire claims.
And also vandalism, right?
Vandalism is one as well. Yeah, especially again, right now, the cold weather, everyone is kind of looking to go inside. And so, but you always want to make sure that your policy, you're staying within the confines of your policy. A lot of vandalism claims I see get denied because of vacancy clauses. And so
Mm.
you always want to make sure you're reading your policy. And if you have a vacant building that is susceptible to vandalism, you're still operating within the confines of the policy to ensure that you receive coverage for those types of activities.
I want people to get out of the show, not to try to handle this themselves like I was doing. It is so important that you have a good public insurance adjuster. Um, and Sarah, I haven't told you that we're getting a lot of letters from small towns. I remember one came, they saw that you were going to be on today, came from Tyler, and you cover the whole state of Texas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We go throughout the state of Texas. We have a team of people that we work with, and so that allows us to help as many homeowners as Texas will allow us to help.
Now, you work with contractors and restoration companies, correct?
We receive a lot of referrals from contractors and restoration companies. Yes.
And how do it's amazing that a public adjuster, you do so much work without realizing your first dime.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Good notice. How did you know that?
Hey, I'm doing a lot of these shows.
Yep, yep. That's very true. Yeah.
Well, people don't
Sometimes,
know how you get paid.
yeah. So that is true. There are some times that I might not get paid 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road. And so, but, we just, thankfully, we just, keep our head down and keep focusing on helping clients and trusting that, the payment will come through whenever it's supposed to.
Yeah, because it's not like when you sign with Siri, you have to write them a check. It's almost on a contingency basis, isn't it?
That is correct, Steve. Yes, we work on a contingency basis. So if there's no recovery, then there's no fee. So, it takes time to get the recovery and negotiate with these insurance companies, and that's part of the job. But that is correct. So if the homeowner doesn't get paid, we don't get paid. So it's a
And
win-win.
Yes, and there's, gosh, Texas is definitely noted for their tornadoes. And when there's tornadoes, that means roof damage. And again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get a good public insurance adjuster. Um, what about businesses? Let's talk about businesses because you also handle businesses.
Yes, sir, we do. Yes. There's a lot of facets to a commercial claim, a bit, a business claim, because they're looking at loss of income, and then lost wages and things like that. I had a client who had to shut down his restaurant for, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks. He had to shut down two times due to the repairs, one to immediately mitigate and stop the damages, and then he did a partial reopening, and then a second time for the reconstruction. So he had to, close his doors for a total of approximately 2 to 3 months. And with that, he had to ensure that his employees, employees are an essential part of a business. And so, in order to ensure that his employees that he had invested years into training and keeping, he had to continue to pay them. Even though they couldn't work during that time. And so things like that come into play a lot of times with the commercial claim. Same thing with his food. He purchased food and then had to close down. And so food spoilage is part of it. And so, oftentimes we'll get like forensic accountants to help with a lot of these types of scenarios. And so commercial claims are definitely a different animal. And it takes a PA who is skilled at understanding the variety of moving parts of a commercial claim.
Here is a great question that just came in. This is Monica in Grapevine. She said, I run a management company. I want to know is because I've just tuned into the show for the first time. I'd like to know, do you handle multi-story buildings or I guess I guess she's trying to say community associations.
Yes. So maybe she means multifamily properties like apartment complexes.
Probably
Is she the
yes.
property manager? Oh yeah, for sure. So those work a little bit differently because the property management companies generally have to go through a process, a vetting process. But yes, absolutely. And quite frankly, they're a lot of the ones that are most in need because for example, if you have, like I worked a multifamily fire that had multiple apartment units on the third floor. Well, smoke entered the entire third floor,
Hmm.
and then water, went down all the way down to the first floor. And so you had to properly mitigate and account for every tenant on the top floor and then every tenant that received water damage down below. And so, yes, absolutely. There's a lot of moving parts for multifamily, but we certainly help with those as well.
Since we know they're listening right now, give your phone number. A lot of people are listening on radio now and on iHeart and Spotify. Give them your phone number right now since we know she's
Okay.
probably listening.
Yeah. Hi, Monica. Okay. Our phone number is 817-692-9144. We'd love to help you out.
Sarah, are you amazed that a lot of homeowners maybe never read or understood their entire policy?
I'm not. I'm not surprised by it. Quite frankly, it is a tough document to understand and read. I know when I first started in the industry, I sat down with a lot of the different carriers. Every policy is different every year. They come out with different endorsements and things like that. But even me, as I was learning this industry, on a Friday night, I'd sit, at the end of the night and read these policies and highlight and write down even the questions that I had, or the ambiguities that that I didn't understand. And so it's a difficult policy to understand, the nitty gritty. But what I think is important is, going to your agent and understanding and ensuring that you understand what's on the declaration pages for sure. And even asking them to explain to you what those numbers mean, and if there's any areas that you might not be covered, and then what endorsements or exclusions are included, asking the agent to explain a lot of that to you. And then, yes, absolutely, go grab your policy and read it for yourself as well. I think it's very important that the population as a whole understands what they're spending thousands of dollars a month on, because I can't tell you how many times I've met a client and then had to say, I'm sorry, your policy does not cover this specific
Uh,
issue. And it's heartbreaking.
yes, that must be tough.
Hmm.
Here is Chris in Temple, Texas, wants to know, when do you call a public adjuster?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for listening under the show. Good question. And so the best time to call a public insurance adjuster is before you open the claim, really, I think, because sometimes, it's good to get an honest, non-biased opinion on whether
Right.
you should even open the claim. Because sometimes, like a contractor's not supposed to or going to sit there and understand what your policy says as it relates to the damages. And so sometimes what I see is homeowners or property owners open a claim and it's below their deductible. The damages are below their deductible, or it's not even covered in their policy. And so to protect the consumers at large, I think it's best to call a public adjuster before you even open the claim.
Do the mortgage companies get involved when there's a insurance claim?
Yeah, good question. So they do, in terms of they are an owner of the asset as well. They have a vested interest in that property if you have a mortgage. And so what happens oftentimes is once a claim reaches a certain dollar amount, the insurance company will put the mortgage company on that insurance claim check, to ensure that the homeowner utilizes the funds to complete the repairs, because it's their asset as well. And so that goes through a lengthy paperwork and approval process. Sometimes it slows down the repairs, but we always help, a property owner with that process as well.
So they do sometimes create a challenge.
Yes, yes, they do. I don't know. Did you own your home whenever you had your
Yes,
insurance claim? See, that's
yes.
great. You didn't have the delay of the mortgage companies, but yes, it does create a delay, for sure.
You know, it's so important that we explain to all these homeowners and people who own a business, try owning a business where next door has a major flood and it comes into your business. There's
Right.
so many challenges for a business. I mean, you've got employees to pay if you're shut down. And I just think it's so important that people understand to get a good public insurance adjuster like Sarah.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you're here to help, educate the population and the community. I think it's important that people understand what resources and information is available to them. So you're empowering everyone with this information.
Well, I'm finding out from doing these shows all over the country that people aren't educated. You know this when it comes to a public insurance adjuster. And
Mhm.
I thought, gosh, 20 years later, people would catch up, but it's not. And there's a lot of new homeowners too that don't realize it. That's why the importance of this show. We got a couple minutes left. Tell people why they should hire your company.
Well, we really, really care. I mean, really, truly, we care about our clients. I really feel, a lot of passion about what I do because I believe in protecting the American dream. I believe people have worked their whole lives to own a home or own a business or own multiple business investment properties. And I think that, I think that that's worth defending. And insurance touches everything in this world. It touches literally the post-it notes on your desk. And so it touches everything in this world. And so it's a large industry that's worth protecting the integrity and the promise of what it strives for. And so we really do the best we can to apply that same level of passion into protecting the clients that we meet, their policies and their damages, and helping them rebuild their lives.
Well, you sure have the passion and you sure have the knowledge. Just tell people again how they can reach you, your phone number, and your website address.
Sure. So our website is www.txclaims.com, and our phone number is 817-692-9144.
Hey, I'm sorry we didn't get to everybody's questions today, but Sarah will be back again with us next month. Sarah, have a wonderful holiday, a happy new year, and I can't wait for your next show next month.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate everything you do.
We got it done. It took a couple minutes, but we got it done. Thank you so much, Sarah. Take care.
Thanks.
That's
you too. Bye-bye.
Sarah with Provident Public Insurance Adjusters. Great company. Folks, if you own a business or you're a homeowner, you have a flood, fire, wind, whatever, don't handle it yourself. Call Sarah. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.